Hey guys, I get asked so many questions as it pertains to premium draping, and one of the most frequently asked questions is, how do you swag? How do you make swags? How do you create swags? How you make them loop? How you make them swoop? All that good stuff. So in this video, I'm going to show you some techniques and how to make premium swags with various different fabric blends. Stay tuned. I am Precious Stevens of the Posh Academy, and I teach event creators such as yourself how to create premium draping to attract higher paying clients so they can make more money doing exactly what they love. If that is something that interests you, you can get started by downloading my free guide, which you will find the links in the description below. Now, I'd like to ask you, what is one of your most common frustrations as it pertains to draping? I want you to put that question down in the comments below, because guess what? I may have a solution or a video already tailored for you. And not to mention, if I don't have one already, I will create it. So again, in this video, like I said, we are going to be creating swags, but if you were maybe wanting to know how to attach a valance, guess what? I have a video specifically for you over here that shows step-by-step details on how to attach a valance to your backdrops. And guess what? It's not as hard as you think. So be sure to check out that video. Okay, so once you get all of your fabric up on your second layer, next thing you're going to do is raise. But one of the key, I'm going to share with you 3 tips, which is the secret behind beautiful swags. Tip number 1 is heavy fabric. Now, the reason you kind of want to use heavy fabric when you're doing swoops and scallops is because the fabric has extra weight and there's not a lot of manipulation. If you're using fabrics such as a stretch blend, a sequin, not sequin, but a stretch blend, a spandex, a velour, a velvet, things like that, it's not a lot of hand manipulation. So it's so much easier for you to create swags, especially if you're inexperienced. Even if you're a newbie, if you operate with these blends, you'll be able to create swags easy peasy, right? So now you're going to raise your design and begin the actual swagging. Okay, so once you have your unit raised, now you're going to find the middle of your design, which would be right here, between my two yellows. And you pretty much just shift that fabric on that side and bring this fabric over to this side. Now, what you want to do is measure your mark, which is where you're going to be bringing the fabric to. I am going to use the bottom slots on my uprights. Now, I am using different blends and different textures so I can show you different ways and how you would pleat your fabric. So right now I am using a crushed taffeta, which is this pink, right? Now crushed taffeta doesn't really have a lot of sagging and swooping. It's not going to give you that beautiful, like a deep swoop. So I normally use my taffeta on the outside because I know it's pretty much just going to come straight down. And I'm pretty much just using my easy hand technique to put pleats into my fabric. Secure it to the pole. Then I would go to my next blend. Now the next blend is a sheer. This is a flat voile, meaning it doesn't really have any texture to it. These do, if you don't fold them correctly, they will hold wrinkles. So again, normally if I'm using any kind of flat voile, which I hardly ever use, but I'm pretty much just using it to fill in my backdrop, because if I'm using it, I will keep it closest to the pole because it's not going to give me, again, that flowy look that I know that these other two blends will provide. And then I'm going to share with you tip number 2. And tip number 2 is going to be pipe cleaners. I always use pipe cleaners. I never use zip ties or anything else because these are inexpensive, for one. You can use them over and over. And let's just say if you have like if you mess up, right? You can easily adjust the pipe cleaner so you can make your correction. And they're just super cheap and they last like forever. Whereas though with zip ties, if you make a mistake, you pretty much have to cut it off, and it's trash. So it's like, I look at that as money going down the drain. So stick with some pipe cleaners and you'll be fine. And you're going to pleat it the same way. Which is pretty much just straight pleats, nothing whimsical, nothing flowy, and you want to tie it directly to next to your first panel. Now I am going to be swagging my crushed sheer. Now the thing with crushed sheer, which I love, again, like I said, is textured fabric. It's sort of maintenance free, but not totally maintenance free because it does hold some light wrinkles. However, you can get away with it because the fabric actually has texture. But if you see the transition, I'm starting with hard fabric in the beginning, which pretty much is straight pleats. These are called straight A-line pleats, right? They're crisp, not a lot of flowiness to it. But as I'm going into my more dense fabrics, this is where I'm going to get that deep swoop and things like that, right? So with the orange, I'm going to bring my fabric over to where I want it to go. And then I'm still going to pleat the same way. However, I am not, I'm doing it a little more loosely because I will want this to flow a little bit. So once I have all of my pleats in my hand, I'm going to go down and kind of just come up a little bit so that I can provide some kind of swoopness. But again, this is not going to give you that deep swoop like a stretch blend would. So now I'm moving on to my favorite fabric blend, which is, this is spandex, but you can use spandex, jersey knit, any kind of 2-way or 4-way stretch to achieve this look. Now, with the benefit with stretch is that it's not a lot to it. You don't have to really do a lot. You just simply pick up the fabric, put it to wherever you want it to go, and then you go down the bottom. And a lot of people, this is where they get hemmed up. They try and create swags, and that's not something you need to do. Only thing you need to focus on is making your two hands meet. That is it. And then you connect it. Once you have all of your blends that you're using on one side, once you have them all up, you go back, you stand back, and you start looking for your imperfections, right? You start looking for your imperfections so you can go in and correct anything you don't like. If you have to like manually make some pleats, or you may have to make one smaller, make one bigger, this is when you would do that. And the last tip is tip number 3, which is when you're creating your swags, you have to have confidence. If you're not confident in yourself, then guess what? The fabric is going to do whatever it want to do. But you have to remember that you are in control and you are operating the fabric. So if it ends up like, you know, your pleats aren't right or they aren't polished, it's not necessarily that you are not trained. However, if you have confidence in knowing, hey, these pleats are going to happen. Guess what? They will happen. So you can watch this video and other videos that I have on YouTube sharing tips, tricks, and resources to obtain premium draping. And hopefully, not hopefully, you will get much better. So check out my other videos if you want to see the end result of this design, because we're actually not finished. But for this video, I just wanted to show you guys how I create my swags. Key tips that you want to remember is if you are using dense fabric or fabric that's like the taffeta or the voile, you want this, if you have other blends, you want to really keep this on the end because it's not going to give you the swoop, the scallop look such as a spandex would, as well as crushed shear. Crushed shear is a great filler as well to transition into your scallop. So if you like this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, because I'm quite sure this will be a popular video because so many people want to know just how to create swags. And if you have anything you would like to see particular on the channel, guess what? Put it down in the comments so we can get it on a schedule, and I hope to see you guys on the inside.